Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jason Edens. I work for the Renewable Energy Alliance in northern Minnesota. And when clean energy is conventional, it'll be a tool to help us eradicate poverty. When clean energy is conventional, solar heating will be a tool to help the impoverished become empowered. There are literally tens of millions of American families that grapple with something called fuel poverty on a day-to-day basis, year after year. There are tens of thousands of Wisconsin families that grapple with fuel poverty year after year. Fuel poverty, what is it? Basically, if home heating is competing with other basic necessities, we're living in fuel poverty. If I have to choose between dialing the thermostat back to 58 or putting food on the table for my kids, if I have to choose between turning the thermostat down or paying my health care bill or transportation costs, I'm living in fuel poverty. And there are literally 30 to 40 million Americans that have to make very difficult choices each and every year. That's fuel poverty. It's sometimes called the heat or eat conundrum. And a lot more of us grapple with this than we realize. Fortunately, there is a huge federal program that helps families that have to grapple with fuel poverty. It's called energy assistance. How many of you have heard of it? How many of you have experienced it? I got my hand raised because I grew up in a family where year after year we were dependent on energy assistance to keep our house warm. The truth of the matter is, though, this is a Band-Aid on a wound that needs a tourniquet. We're not solving the problem. It costs us, in this state alone, about $100 million every year just to provide this service for a fraction of the applicants, year after year. If it cost $100 million in Wisconsin, it costs a similar amount of money in Minnesota, North Dakota, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Montana, Washington, Oregon. You do the math, it's a lot of money we're throwing out the door year after year, and there's a better way. But what are we going to do 10 years from now? What's propane going to cost 10 years from now? The truth of the matter is energy assistance, this pivotal social service that we're providing to our communities, is really in jeopardy. Of course, fossil fuels are a finite resource, which means heating costs are going up, which means energy assistance is facing a perfect storm in that more families need the service as heating costs go up. So energy assistance really needs a breakthrough idea. We think that solar energy is part of the solution. We can use solar heating to address this problem more effectively and on a much more permanent basis. Now, you'll notice I say it's part of the solution. Solar energy is no panacea. Solar is not a silver bullet, but it is part of the golden buckshot, and where appropriate, it can be an extremely powerful tool to actually address low-income fuel poverty, which is why we're advocating for including solar heating, solar thermal, in the energy assistance context, in an effort to provide a domestic, a clean, and a long-term solution to our friends, our neighbors, our communities' low-income fuel poverty. What's the payback? What's the return on investment for energy assistance? Granted, again, it has very powerful, extremely important social benefits, but what's the return on investment? There isn't one. Like I said, we're just hemorrhaging cash in an effort to apply a Band-Aid. However, if we use solar heat in the energy assistance context, there is a genuine, lasting return on investment, which means now all the families that have been turned away that need the service can be helped. It's a much wiser use of public dollars, and it's a longer solution. Minnesota has fortunately been a leader in this. Minnesota realizes that in years to come, it's going to be a challenge to continue to provide this pivotal social safety net. Already, we've done nearly 300 installations in the state of Minnesota, and our intention is not to limit this program to Minnesota, but help other agencies elsewhere in the nation include solar heating in the energy assistance and weatherization program. Now, notice I mentioned weatherization. As many people have pointed out, and this is a big mantra for our organization, energy efficiency always trumps renewables, hands down. As a result, we always work in tandem with weatherization. Between a solar heating installation and a robust weatherization event, we can reduce the home energy burden for our low-income families, neighbors, and communities by more than 50%. So this is something that we hope will take place on a national level. Through a combination of program replication and technology transfer, we hope to introduce this concept across the northern tier of the United States. We're quite unique. As a nonprofit, we're actually a solar thermal manufacturer, and the vast majority of what we make goes to energy assistance programs, affordable housing programs, Habitat for Humanity, and the like. We hope to replicate or see the replication of the use of solar heat in this context across the nation, from Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon. Okay. And again, there are many other benefits as well. If we continue to foot the bill for conventional standard energy assistance, there are costs above and beyond the hundreds of millions, the billions of dollars that we're spending each and every year. And of course, they're environmental in nature. And in many ways, energy assistance actually functions as a fossil fuel subsidy. Energy assistance, ironically, has broad support on Capitol Hill regardless of your political stripes. Why? The families don't actually see the actual money. Although it's beneficial and it's an important social safety net, where does the money go? It goes to our utilities. And although we need to continue to provide this service, we can do it in a much cleaner way. So again, the question is conventional energy assistance or solar assistance? Energy assistance or solar assistance? Thank you very much.